I'm trying to explain to people the impact that my father's had on the modern industry. I emphasize that the guy didn't invent the industry. In fact, we know that there's been an industry here in one form or another since the 19th century. Okay, but the modern industry. I mean, we weren't even the very first winery in Niagara on the Lake. We were the second. But based on what he knew, what he then learned on a trial and error day-to-day basis, and eventually that imparting that knowledge, acting as a mentor to others, whether they were grape growers or other wine producers, it accelerated the development of the industry by the number I use, and I can't quantify it, but I sincerely believe it's by 15 to 25 years. In other words, it would have eventually happened anyway, but had he arrived 10 or 20 years sooner, it would have happened 10 or 20 years sooner, and had he not arrived here at all, eventually, others, either individually or collectively, sharing their knowledge, would have figured it out the way that he started to figure it out back in the 70s. And whether it was advances in the growing of the grapes, which is his impact on the foundation of the industry, because it is an agricultural industry. So that, in my opinion, is his greatest impact. So, but whether it's innovation at the agricultural level, or innovation at the production level, and eventually innovation in tourism and marketing, which is what the chateau represents. I mean, when this opened in the mid '90s, it was very pioneering. It was an agritourism landmark, or became a landmark. So when you combine all those things together, you're talking about accelerating the development of an industry by 20 or 25 years. Now, that might not sound like a lot of time, but if you went back 25 years from today and looked around at what was here then, the answer is none of this was here then, right? So it's a very, very big deal, and there's a very good reason why he holds the Order of Canada. That's basically the reason why it helped accelerate the development of the industry by about a generation. And you look in the wine world today, you read journals and things like that, and you're hearing about the discovery of new wine regions with great potential. And they were there, but the land has been there for millions of years. The climate was already there. So why is it that these places are now being discovered now? Okay, because more likely it's taken a Paul Bosc type of character to surface in these places and say, wait a minute, we could do a good job here. We could make fine wine. It could have happened 50 years before, 100 years before, but the human intervention, the human talent wasn't there for whatever reason, and it's only arriving there today, right? Well, for us here in the Niagara Peninsula, that meeting a confluence of all these factors, the organic factors, the soil, the climate, and the human intervention, all really began to come together, really starting in the late 1970s.